and a happy Thursday morning to you. If you're out there, it's good to maybe we're not seeing you, but to know you're out there. Hopefully, all's going well. Here in Virginia, we've got crazy winds going on outside. Crazy, crazy winds and rain. Not sure if it's going to broadcast over to the microphones, but it's happening here. So I'm Jim. Good morning. Welcome to almost the end of your week. It is Friday Eve. For some folks, I guess the days are blending together. It's getting a little crazy, I guess, as we see the days merging. So, what the heck day is it today? Let's see what we got going on. It is National Military Brat Day. If you don't know what a military brat is, if you haven't been around the military, it's just someone who's been raised in the military. Their parents, one or both of them, are in the military or have been in the military. And their symbol, as you can see in this picture right here, is the dandelion. And that's me just because the seeds are scattered across the world. That's where we see military brats scattered across the world. They have to go wherever their parents go, and sometimes hard on. Sometimes hard. I know. I grew up in a small town in Montana. The kids I went to grade school with are the kids I graduated high school with. To me, that was the normal. My kids, they barely know anyone they went to grade school with or middle school or high school. Just drug them around the world. So for that, my hat is off to all the military brats out there that are doing well. I'm sure it does put a different perspective on things when you get to live in a lot of different locations. It does bring its own set of challenges, though. So hats off to the military brats that are out there. Do you know any brats? You might. Let me know. Drop in the comment below. What you think about military brats. It's different. It's a different world than most people grow up in. Being on military bases, especially around the world in different countries, different way of looking at things. The other thing we got going on, as you know, tomorrow is our first trivia night. I'm still working on picking the prize out, and we're gonna get some stuff made up. We're just not gonna be able to have it made for this first trivia night. So, folks that win the first one here, the folks that are the trivia champions this trivia night tomorrow, we'll get you something for tomorrow, and you'll probably get some of the branded, like the Cyber-Recon Trivia Champion official swag when it comes out. That's going to be some different type stuff. So we are focusing tomorrow on domain 1 of the Security Plus exam, which is types of attacks. So it could cover all kinds of things: wireless attacks, reflection attacks, amplification attacks. Could be types of hackers. All over the place. And it's not just going to be the easy stuff that we cover in these online classes, on the YouTube classes. I'm going to throw some stuff in there that you may have to know a little bit about. Some trivia that's going to hopefully stump a few people, and hopefully we'll see the folks that know what they're talking about rise to the top. The majority of it will be the stuff we've covered here in the last few weeks. So be there or be square. Friday, 7 p.m. East Coast time. We'll get you login information a little bit before that, because you'll have to log in through the Cyber-Recon site to get set up on the testing software. Real easy login. Simple as I can make it, but I need some way to track how you're doing, who's answering what question, that kind of stuff. So that will be tomorrow night. So if you're locked in, you're locked down still, or you want to just prove that you have the top security chops, if you are the security trivia guru, then this is the time for you to shine. So this morning, we're just going to look at RFID, radio frequency identification, how it's used, what are the attacks, that kind of stuff. So if you want to hang out just for about a couple seconds. We're going to jump right into that after our little intro. So be right back with you. All right, today on Cyber-Recon, we will be talking about radio frequency ID, or RFID. This is stuff you should know for the Security Plus exam, so hit that bell to be notified when new content comes out. Like and subscribe because we need your support. And as always, throw your comments below. If you're watching us live, throw your comments in the live session. But let's jump into the PowerPoint deck. So this is part of Domain 1, compare and contrast types of attacks. We're still in 1.2 because there is a lot to cover in 1.2. Remember, there are 6 domains in this certification exam, and Domain 1 covers about a quarter of the questions you're gonna see in the entirety of the exam. So, big chunk of stuff we're going to talk about here. So as we get going on, radio frequency ID, or RFID, is a technology that's used, get the mouse out of the way there, for radio frequency identification. It's a form of non-contact and automatic ID technology that uses radio signals. So no cables connected between your identification card and a badge reader or something like that. You can just swipe and go. A lot of people have probably seen this. Your badges may be used to get in and out of work. Badges you use for getting in and out of the gym, maybe, or other places. It's got a little chip, and you see in this example here, we see a bank card that's been peeled apart, and we see that big circle in the middle. That's the antenna. That's what's going to pull the power in, and we need to be able to do that. We need to be able to pull the power in because a lot of times these things they're not powered, right? So to get power to them, most of the time you enter a field that's being broadcast by the reader, and this field charges up that coil you saw in the last slide and provides power to the RFID tag itself. Some RFID tags are powered, but generally they're passive. There's no power until they're energized. So the radio frequency energy that's broadcast in the field is the thing that powers the ID tag. Once the card or the device or the tag or whatever it is enters this field, it's energized, and then it sends its encrypted signal to the reader. So like your RFID card you have maybe to enter your building, your badge or your ID card, it sits there passively until it's energized. And once it's energized, then it automatically sends that signal out. And that's important because that is one of the things that bad guys can use to come after you. So we see these things all over the place. There are more and more and more places now. ID badges and cards, like we've been talking about, getting in and out of a building, getting in and out of a room, those kind of things, tracking where people are, tracking your inventory. We can put ID tags on inventory, pet tracking and pet protection. We can put RFID tags into our pets so if they get lost, they can be scanned and then hopefully returned quickly to us. And then a lot of gated communities now are using RFID to allow people in and out. So we can see why it could be dangerous if an RFID tag falls into the wrong hands. We can see that. One thing's not listed here, and we probably have seen this all the time, is we use it for inventory tracking. We also use it for theft prevention. So that RFID tag, if it's not disabled, usually that's done at the cash register when you purchase something. When you walk out through the RFID readers outside a store, if that tag's still energized or still active, that alarm goes off, and someone's got to come check to make sure you paid for your big screen TV or whatever you've got there. And so that's how we can use it for loss prevention, right? There's a lot of attacks we can go at with the RFID. Man in the middle and data interception is a big thing. We can sit there, that signal is being broadcast across the air. It is encrypted, but a lot of times we can go online and we can look up the encryption keys and break that encryption fairly easily. The main, the big makers of this are trying to get this locked down, but a lot of times it's easy as going doing a Google a lot of times it's as easy as going and doing a Google search and then looking up how to decrypt that signal with the key that's available. Replay, we can record an RF signal and replay it. Obviously, this would be good for when we're using RFID as a access control mechanism, like gates on a gated community. If we can record that signal and then replay it later, the gate's going to open for us. Talked about poorly employed encryption. It's not the encryption technology that's poorly employed. It's the fact that most of the time you can get the keys online. You just go get the ability to decrypt the signal. We can also have the ability to spoof readers and spoof tags. The danger in spoofing a reader is if I can create a reader, and I've seen this done before, where they put the reader and a power supply in a backpack, and then they have the actual reader part of it on a cable that goes to someone's hand. If they can hold it close to someone's wallet or purse, they can clone cards, access cards. I've seen it done several times. You could also clone credit cards, possibly, depending how well the encryption on those things is working. That's definitely a little more encrypted than the ID cards usually. And then we can spoof those things. We can spoof them. We can get access to a building that we shouldn't have access to. Maybe we can get access to a community we shouldn't have access to. And then obviously, one thing we can do is we can jam the signal. Anytime we have these wireless types of technology, they're always going to be prone to jamming. So Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, near field, like this is used for near field. Any of these technologies, if we can throw a big signal up there, it will jam it, of course. So that's the rundown. That's the lowdown of RFID. That's what you need to know for the exam. That's what you need to know for your basic security knowledge. Maybe you'll see some of that on the trivia night. Who knows? But as always, I'm Jim with Cyber-Recon, trying to get you ready for that Security Plus exam, trying to get you ready to be better in your security career. As always, love to hear your comments. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, to be notified. And we'll see you next time. Be safe out there.